Hello, welcome to Cardboard History. I'm David. Today I want to share a little bit of a recap of my day at Strongsville. The show was all weekend long. I was there on Friday. It was a fantastic time. Really enjoyed getting to meet some new people, some fellow YouTubers at the get-together, see some cards that people picked up, and just see a lot of really amazing cards in the showcases and throughout the show floor. It was a full day and really enjoyable. I left pretty early in the morning, drove to Strongsville. It was about 2.5 hour drive, and then left at about 9 o'clock at night. I stepped away from the YouTube get-together and made my way back home and got home around midnight. So a full day, and I want to share some cards that I also picked up. It's been a very full weekend. I was hoping to do this sooner, but Saturday we took the kids up to the Port Clinton Safari and had a lot of fun with them, getting to see them react to the animals coming up to our car. It was a good time. And then Sunday is always just a busy day with church and family, and so today after work I thought I'd sit down and share with you guys what I picked up. Let me turn around the camera and we can go through these. So I had mentioned in my pre-Strongsville show that I had a couple of goals, and I think I hit them pretty well. What I'll do first is go through some of the Cubs pickups that I have, and then share some of the pickups that I have for my Ken Burns collection. First thing, when I got to the show, I tried to make a trip around the show floor and get an idea of what was there before I just spent money on a big card right away. And one thing I noticed right away were some Venezuelan cards, some Venezuelan tops at a booth, and I know these are always hard to come by. Last year I asked around at just about every booth and nobody had any Venezuelans last year. So when I saw that one dealer had a pretty decent stack, I decided to pick these up. On the 66, you can tell because of this darker salmon color here, it's a little bit different than the tops from the US or the O-Pee-Chee. They're a lighter pink here. So that's the biggest difference on these. So I picked up George Altman and Don Landrum. And then for 62, I picked up a Barney Schultz. And these are really easy to tell because the backs are in Spanish. This one's got a little bit of a mark on it. But really for these cards, any condition that on the back doesn't have massive paper loss is pretty good. And the last Venezuelan I picked up was a 59 Bill Henry. On these, the gloss on the front is not there, as it is in the US printed version, so the front tends to get a lot of snow. This is the first 59 Venezuelan that I've picked up. And I mark these on the back just so I know when I have these in my box, and because some of them are really hard to tell. Another thing I had mentioned that I was going to try to do is pick up some of the other stamps and things like that, and I picked up a couple 59 stamps for Banks and Ron Santo. I already had the Banks, but it was already glued into an album, so this one is the first standalone. And then also a couple of these 63 peel-offs. There's only 2 Cubs in the set, and one dealer had both of these, so I picked these up. Then wasn't really expecting to look too hard for any 49 Leafs, but I saw this Pafco. It's in really rough shape. It almost looks like it has maybe some water damage or something like that right here, but the price were really low, and so this is a filler until I can get a chance to upgrade it. But this is Pafco's rookie card. And then going back a little bit further, picked up a 33 Tattoo Orbit of Bill Georges. And this is the first Tattoo Orbit in my collection. So I saw a handful of these and kind of picked out one that was in somewhat decent shape. It's got a little bit of a crease on it. In the back you can tell is another crease over here. But overall, great color. The Art Deco background really pops. And yeah, so glad to add one of these cards to my collection. Then another thing I had mentioned that I wanted to do was try to fill out my Bowman run for Cubs, and so These two 53 Bowmans were both the last two Bowman colors that I need. I'm still missing one, black and white from 53. And then the set that I need the most from is the 49 Bowman, and I picked up a few of these. Another Pafko. This is Pafko's second year. Jess Dobrinick. Emil the Antelope Verbatim. I thought these were all just in great shape. And also Harry Lowry. Really vibrant colors, decent registration, some rounding on the corners, but overall, for this set, really some of the best examples I have in my collection. Then the other Cubs that I picked up, wasn't really expecting, but I did find a dealer that had a pile of these. These are from the Milton Bradley game, 1969. So the front is the picture, and then it was some sort of a dice game on the back where it shows, the outcome of the dice roll. So picked up a handful of these, about half of the Cubs that are in the set. Billy Williams, Ron Santo, Glenn Beckert, great Ernie Banks. Just a great picture. He always looks like he's having a great time. And Fergie Jenkins. And along with that, another 69 kind of a game pickup is this Billy Williams from the 69 Globe Imports. I had the Santo already, and so I was happy to pick up the Billy Williams to go with it. Then I had stated my goal was to kind of pick up one significant Cubs card, and this is what I picked up. I saw this card early in the show and thought the price was pretty great on it, and probably passed by that table about 4 or 5 times, just keeping my eye on it to make sure that it wasn't gone, until finally I realized this is the one big card that I wanted to go for, and it's the T201 Evers and Chance. So you have Evers on the front, and then on the back is Chance. So these are from Mecca Cigarettes, and love that there's 2 Hall of Famers, 2 of the famous Cubs double play trio on here, just missing Tinker. So I've had my eye on these cards for a little while. I really appreciate them, and just like the larger picture from 1911, it gives you a little bit more artistry than the T206s from that same era. So that is the Cubs card that I picked up. Then I want to share some of the things that I got for the Ken Burns collection. So I first of all picked up a handful of 51 Bowman. This is one of the sets that I have the most cards from, and so I always keep my eye open for these, and I may come back and do kind of a more focused video on some of these players and tell more of their story as part of the Ken Burns series that I'm working on. Little interruption there. So I got the Don Newcomb, Ed Stanky, Larry Jansen, Jerry Coleman, and Allie Reynolds. So many of these are Yankees or Dodgers or Giants cards that are in this set, because there's a lot of history around those teams in the early 50s. So I was able to add 5 more from the 51 Bowman set, and all in pretty decent shape, a couple creases here and there. And then I had one Burt Ross in my Ken Burns collection, and I had put this Vic Rashi in the Burke Ross collection of the Burke Ross set, just because I wanted an example of the Burke Ross cards. And so I was able to find this, and this is the only Burke Ross card in the Ken Burns collection that I'm working on, so I was able to knock that off. And then a few more from the 30s with the Diamond Star set. with Marvin Owen, Ben Chapman, and Pepper Martin. So all three of these, again, just great color, somewhat decent centering on a couple of them. And I really like this set just because of the vibrant colors and the Art Deco design. So I was glad to pick those up, and I'll probably do a little bit more of a feature on these over the next few months. And one card that I had already going to Strongsville knew that I was going to pick up was this T205 Harry Wolter. I had reached out from the For Collectors Trade Night. Matt from the Card Story had shared this card, and I knew I needed this one for the Ken Burns collection and thought the price was fair, so reached out to him and he brought it to Strongsville, and we were able to work out a deal. Then the big card for the Ken Burns collection, I went around and kind of went back and forth, and again, much like the T201, I kind of went back and forth, kept coming back to the table to see if it was still there, and then finally decided to pull the trigger on this 1906 Fan Craze Hugh Duffy. So this Fan Craze set doesn't show up very often. It's not nearly as common as the T206, T205 set. And so I only saw one dealer that had any of these cards there. There's some people in my project, like Ban Johnson, whose only Living Day card that I'm aware of is in this set. So I was happy to pick up a Hall of Famer in a 4, great quality on the back. You see the Fan Craze logo. So this was my big pickup. I ended up getting it for close to half of what I had listed that I was willing to pay for this card. I think I may have kind of overestimated how much it was worth as I started to look up comps, but was really happy to get this one and to mark it off the list. Altogether, I picked up 11 cards from the Ken Burns collection, so that takes me up to around 46 or 47 cards out of the 425. So slow progress, but happy to keep moving things forward. I probably won't pick up very many new cards over the next few months as I try to save up for the National and maybe target another big card there. So thank you for watching. Thank you for all of you that have subscribed. I, through Strongsville, managed to pass 100 subscribers, so that's a big milestone that I'm really excited and thankful for everyone who has subscribed and commented and continue to check out the video, and for all of you that stopped by and said hi at Strongsville and talked to me about my channel. I appreciate that. It was great to meet so many of you, and I continue to hope to make some content and continue to share the things that I'm picking up in my collection. Thank you for watching Cardboard History.